Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. My name is Brad. I'm here with Lionel, and Lionel is going to present to you a couple of our new features and answer any questions you might have. So he's going to go through the two new features and then tell you a little bit about something else that we're working on. I'll leave that to him. I want to thank you all for joining us today. If you have questions at the end, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can use the chat button, and we'll make sure any questions are answered. If you're uncomfortable doing that, please feel free to um, email or contact myself or Lionel. Of course, all our stuff's available. If you have any questions, you have my stuff for sure. Anyways, thank you again. Thank you for being here today. And I'm going to switch this over to Lionel right now. Go ahead, Lionel.
Great, thanks, Brad. And hello to everyone that's online here. It's great to have you. It's interesting to see the names pop up for the participants. And I've said to the other two groups, I recognize most of the names through emails that we've exchanged. And I have this voice in my head that sort of covers for all of you. But as you start to hear voices, it's always nice to put a voice to the name. So it's great to have you here. As Brad said, we'll try to keep this to about 15 minutes because I know it's the end of the day, depending on, and it varies a bit depending on your time zone. But we'd just like to take a few minutes and talk about a couple of the new features that are available at advantagescience.com. As Brad said, the traffic lights, which we've got posted now, and then also we now have up and running our Edvantage Work Solutions. And then there's one other thing, as Brad mentioned, that we'll mention at the end. I think we've muted everyone. And as you should be able to, as Brad said, you can unmute that in the bottom left-hand corner, but we just keep everyone muted while I'm talking, just so there's no feedback, because especially if you're at school, it's hard to find quiet spots in school sometimes. So that's why we did that, to get us started. So let's get going. What we'll do to get started is I will take us to advantagescience.com, and you'll probably recognize this pretty quickly. If you've been there in the last little while, when you or your kids go into the site, they're presented with the course categories. The generic site for both chemistry and physics in the AP world exists in this particular category. We'll be going in there in a moment. The teacher support category is where my cursor is now. And then if I've made a customized course for you, you've wanted just your students in the course, or you've modified your book so that it just made sense to give you your own custom course, that's below the teacher support. We won't be going in there today, but if that is something of interest to you, just reach out to me later and be more than happy to chat a little bit more about that as well. But for now, we're going to go into the advanced placement category. So if you were to do that and you went in there, you would notice that you get the choice of courses. We're going to look at the chemistry today, but there's no reason why you couldn't do physics as well, because it's pretty well the same for both. But in this case, we'll go into the AP Chemistry 1 course. And for those of you that's been a while since you've been in here, for each, you'll notice that each topic is organized by chapter. And so we have a quiz for each chapter. We have the traffic light study guides, which I'll be talking about a bit more in a moment. The study notes, which are PowerPoints by section. The video solutions are the QR codes that you find in the book. But if the kids don't have a mobile device or can't use wherever they are, use it, but they have a laptop, they can get to those videos there, and they're organized by page number. The answer key, just the answers are there. And then if they need a digital copy of each chapter, they can get that online here as well too. But for now, let's take a closer look at what we're calling the Traffic Light Study Guide. And this is a formative assessment tool that basically allows kids to track how they're doing as they work through each of the chapters. So if you're looking for a way to kind of give them a roadmap to help them sort of, how are you doing as we go through the different steps within each chapter, this is a tool for that. And there's sort of two parts to that tool. The second link link here takes you to just a short overview, just a couple minutes of a little video I put together. And I tried to sort of gear this towards the kids. So you'll hear my language sometimes. I'm not so much as talking to you, but to your students, because I figured they would be the ones that are watching it. But after they watch that, then they would click on the first link, which takes them a link to a PDF file. And what they would see there is this. And in this particular situation, what you get is by chapter, we have it listed as learning outcomes, but I think they're really I can statements or competency statements. And so in this case, for chapter 2 of the first book, organized by section and page, there's just a statement of when you're on that page, what should you be able to do? So you can see if you're on page 58, there's something going on about extensive and intensive properties. So the kids would get through that. And then there would be a chance for them to basically think, okay, how am I doing in this? Red being, I don't really get it. Amber, I sort of get it. And green, I'm good to go. And so if they work through this as they're learning the material, it's a way for them to kind of gauge their learning. It's a place for them to be able to check back in with you and go, oh, sir, ma'am, I really don't get this difference between kinetic energy, thermal energy, temperature, and heat. And so then, because they would have that marked red, there would be a place for a conversation. And then when it comes time for the chapter test, really they should all be green so they know they're ready to go. Or, at the end of May when the big exam comes, go back and study the red and the ambers, because those are the ones you probably struggled with before. So those are available now for every chapter, and we're getting some pretty good initial feedback on that. The thing that we sort of wanted to flag today is that, as you start to think about next year, this is something you could put in your book. And we could put it at the start of each chapter, and it would just be there, and it would be an extra tool that the kids would have. Or if you want to keep it separate, they can just go to advantagescience.com and just download them here. They're all in PDF file format. If you need Word files because you've changed yours a bit, let me know and we'll figure that out as well there. So that's the traffic lights. And curious as you try those, sort of some thoughts about that. Feel free to send me something on that. And then the second thing that we're talking about today is what we call Edvantage Solutions. And again, it's available for all Edvantage books, but I'll just go into the chemistry teacher section here. And a short little video. I'd really highly recommend you take a minute, about 2 minutes, and watch this particular overview, because I'm going to go through a couple steps, and we go through fairly quickly, but it's all captured in the short little video there as well. Right now, this is just for teachers. One of our questions sort of through this next, the first part of 2018 is this something we open up to the students as well, or is it teacher only? And so we'll probably be coming back to you to talk a bit more about that. But once you've watched the video, you just find your book and you click on Edvantage Solutions, just like that. A new window opens up and you get a whole new screen. And the company we're working with, we're at their server right now. And the advantage of this particular tool is that not only do you get the work solutions, but if you enter it through advantagescience.com, our server talks to their server and says, hey, you're already registered with us. You don't have to go through the whole process. There's a couple shorter steps that'll get you to your book. So the first thing we do is we click sign in. And instead of signing in with email and password like their customers would do, we just go down to sign in with Edvantage Science. So when you see the two-colored brain, you know that's us. And when I click on that, our server talks to their server and says, hey, it's Lionel. And then because our server validates me, their server immediately lets us in. And so it knows who I am, and I'm in the course. Now, the first time you go in, you have to pick your book. So you go over to Browse, and you look for your book. And in this case, we've been working with AP Chemistry 1, so I'll just take that one right there and click Go. And I'm already registered in this one, so I'm just, see if I can back up just for a second to show you if I can find one here where it's not registered. Let me just see if this one will do it. Right. Okay, this will work. So the first time you go in, you'll see it says enter enrollment key. So you have to put that in to get access to these particular answers. And so the enrollment key is exactly the same enrollment key that you use to get into the teacher's course. So only teachers have access to it. And I submit that. And when I go into there, it checks and goes, okay, that's the right enrollment key. And now we have access to the book. And so we go down and let's say we're doing something in solution chemistry and we're doing something on titrations. I could go down to say page 446, question 7. And when I click on that, I get the full worked answer for me. So in the answer key in the student book, you get just the answer. Here we have the full work solution, and that's available for all the review questions there. So we're kind of excited about that, and we'd love to get your feedback on that. What's working, what isn't working, is there some things we need to tweak with this? But the idea behind it is if you've talked to me about this before, you know I was a bit worried about putting one big PDF file out online and giving it to folks, because all it takes is that to be posted in one place and it's gone. And for some people like the kids to have the work solutions, others don't. It becomes kind of complicated when there's a file floating out there with everything. So this is more targeted to deliver you a work solution on a laptop, on a computer. If you've got your phone and you're sitting in class and you want to check one, you can go and get that delivered to your mobile device as well. So it's very flexible in terms of how you actually access the work solutions. It's just a matter of that when you log in through advantagescience.com, and when you pick the book and you need the enrollment key, is just the enrollment key for the teacher's course as well at advantagescience.com. So that is our work solutions, and try that out. If something doesn't work, don't hesitate to give me a quick shout, and we'll work you through it as fast as we can. So traffic lights, accessible on the student side, work solutions, accessible on the teacher course or the teacher side. And then the third piece that we're excited about, and it's not official and won't be for about another week or two, but we had our AP Chemistry 1 and 2, and we're going to do physics next. But for chemistry, we had it reviewed by the company that does all the AP College Board reviews. And we've got the review back, and we have a week to reply to it. So that's why it's not official yet. But they basically go through our books and compare it to the AP curriculum, and then give us a percentage alignment, and then give that to the College Board so we can get on their approval list. So we are very excited to say, well, we can't say it officially yet and give the number. If the number was a grade, our review was A+. And so there's some good news coming out about the books, and hopefully that'll let other folks know they're out there. And also for people that need a review, that's an important bit of information to know as well. So that is sort of the three things we just wanted to let you know today. We're sort of coming to the end of this. I just got the reminder. But I'll just unmute everyone, and if there's any questions, we've got a couple minutes. We'd be glad to share them now, or like I said, you can always reach out to us later as well. Okay, you try to, good practice model, wait time's 10 seconds. I don't think I quite made it there, but I know it's the end of the day. So I'll say thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and I'll pass it over to Brad just to close us off.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Lionel, for the information. If you have any other questions that you want to do privately, let myself or Lionel know. We would be glad to get back to you. Just for reference, we are very protective of the answer key at this particular point, but if you have an opinion that the students should have access, please share that with us. Otherwise, we just don't want it to end up on the internet, because it takes a lot of the value away. The kids, that they'll find this stuff. We've done two other of these presentations earlier today, and the most frequently asked question was about the traffic lights, and could we have them put into our books next year? And the answer to that is yes, and there is no charge to that or for that. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to try it out, it's a good time to try it out this year and see if the students get any value from that. Anyways, other than that, thank you so much for your time today. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions on the digital side or on the book side. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.